Hello everyone, I am Wanica, also known as Miss Astrology, and this video today is about Mars retrograde. So Mars is retrograde in its home sign of Aries from today, September 9th, 2020, until November 13th, 2020, which just happens to be a Friday. So Friday the 13th, Mars will go back direct and finish its transit through Aries until January of 2021. I do believe January 18th is the exact date that Mars will finally leave Aries after a very long transit and move on to Taurus. So, this video is going to talk about that, what we can expect, and I will talk about each individual sign. Before I get started, I definitely want to encourage everyone to check out my website, sign up for the newsletter. I include this video in the newsletter as well as a write-up to go along with it. And also, if you are interested in a personal birth chart reading, just tap the link. I'll have everything in the subscription box below, or you can follow me on Instagram, MS Astrology, and tap the link in my bio to book a reading. They are recorded live via Zoom. I encourage all questions, and then I send the recording to you afterwards so that you're able to review it. I think it's just imperative that anyone that's watching these videos also get a reading from a professional astrologer, and I do have pretty good reviews, so check those out on my Instagram. Okay, so let's jump in. What is a retrograde is the first thing I want to start with. If any of you guys follow me, you know I like to break things down via words, keywords and phrases, so that it makes it easier to understand. Because while I do understand that astrology is not necessarily easy, it is pretty simple. So let's get right to it. So first, let's start, because it's a retrograde. What is a retrograde? So a retrograde is simply when a planet hits a certain aspect in its orbit around the sun to where it gets that same illusion as you being stopped at a red light and the car next to you moving just a little bit and it making you feel like you're moving backwards, or two trains that are passing and one's going a little faster than the other one, and it makes the other one feel like it's going backwards. Or one of my favorite examples, a real life example, is having my children in the car with me in the car wash, and I know for sure the car is in park, but those washers are moving in a certain way that it's making it feel like we are moving backwards. I remember my kids going, "Oh my God, the car is moving," and I'm like, "No, for sure it's in park." But that is what a retrograde is. It's just this apparent movement in the sky once the planets make certain aspects that make it move in, or appear to be moving in, a backwards motion. And the sun and the moon do not retrograde, and the nodes are always retrograde. Pretty much always, 98% of the time. And all of the other planets do retrograde for different amount of times depending on their speed of their movement. And so in astrology, retrograde is more of an introspective time. It's really a time to reconsider. I like to give it the REs: rethink, reorganize, refocus, reconsider. This is a time to go inwards. It's a retrograde. It's just a time to really self-examine in an introspective way. And so you say, okay, well, I'm ready to self-examine. What am I self-examining? And so we first start with the planet. And so this is Mars, because Mars brings the energy. The planets bring the energy. And so Mars's keywords: Mars rules Aries, which is the first sign of the zodiac, which basically makes Mars a very primitive. It's really our instincts. It's very primal. It's really about survival. It's really about overcoming just daily obstacles and daily stress. Mars is known as the god of war, and in really ancient times, when people back in the ancient days, in the Mesopotamian days, they would see Mars and they would get scared. It was a god of war. And you could see Mars in the sky quite often. As a matter of fact, I saw it just this past weekend when it was conjunct the moon, and a little red dot. And Mars just has scared agricultural, like, you know, a long time ago, they would see Mars in the sky and just instantly think they needed to sacrifice something or be afraid, because Mars is known as the god of war. And while Mars is the god of war, there's more to it than just war. And Mars is in every one of our charts. So Mars is our aggression, it's our assertion, our energy, our attitude. It's even, that primal sex drive in men more than women. It's violence, it's war, it's strife, it's conflict, but it's also really your attitude, your energy, your endurance, your get up and go. It's what really makes you move forward. Without Mars, we wouldn't overcome anything. We'd be lazy. We'd be unmotivated. We'd sleep all the time. Mars makes us take action. And so I like to give the Mars and Aries in the first house the analogy of a baby being born, and it's just kind of busting through into the world, and it's screaming like, rah, I'm here. And that is really Mars energy. Is like, I'm here to overcome. I'm here to conquer. I'm here to, overcome my fears, overcome the stress, overcome this obstacle, and move on. It's a very forward aggressive, and it's killer instincts even, but it's more survival instincts even. Mars also rules violence, war, rage, burning, heat, blood flow, all of those kind of things. And so really, with Mars being our aggression and our anger and kind of our frustration, the question then becomes, where is this anger? Where is this frustration? And for a lot of us, it's a simple trigger. We all have a trigger. We all have Mars in our chart. We all have that area in our life that we really get upset about. We really are assertive about. We really are aggressive about. Now, there are some of us that have Mars that maybe aren't so hard, or that are harshly aspected to where we're too assertive or we're too aggressive, or it's kind of passively aspected with another planet that makes us afraid to assert ourselves and afraid to go for things. And so with Mars retrograde, this is really a time for us to examine what areas of our life that either we are too aggressive and too assertive and, always looking for an area to overcome or some kind of strife or some kind of conflict, or it's either an area of our life for us to examine where we should be more assertive and where we should assert ourselves more and be more aggressive and not wither away. Mars, the worst way to not play out your Mars energy is to be a coward, is to be afraid to take action, is to be afraid to move forward. And what tends to happen when you don't assert your Mars energy is that you end up having frustration that you don't understand, you don't completely know where it comes from, and then therefore you assert it in the wrong way. So this is about overcoming your triggers and even taming your inner conflict. And so let's talk about, and I do like to talk about the signs, and I'm going to go by rising sign, you guys. This is pretty much the most accurate, I think, way to really see Mars play out in your chart. Now, Mars does rule Aries, and anciently it also rules Scorpio. So if you do have an Aries sun or moon, you may find this in a different house depending on where your sun or house fall. But it's just important for you to know your own birth chart. And if you need some help with that, I'm telling you guys, book a reading. I will definitely answer any questions that you have so you can understand. Or you can go to astro.com or astro-charts.com and pull a birth chart and take a look at what house Mars and Aries falls in. We all have Aries in our chart. We all have Mars. We all have all 12 signs and all 10 luminaries, plus some others, plus some nodes and all that kind of stuff. So this is for all of us. Okay, first up, Aries. Okay, and this, remember, this is rising sign. This is based on the ascendant. If you are an Aries rising, this is happening in your first house. The first house is the house of physical appearance. This is Aries naturally rules this house. So Mars naturally rules this house. This is our self-image. This is our own self-assertion. This is our own physical energy. And this is even self-control. And I believe that that's what this is saying for Aries risings and just strong Aries placements altogether. This is about self-control. This is about overcoming the need to always exert yourself and be the leader. This is about allowing other people to step up and be leaders while you sit back and control yourself. Another thing that I do want to bring up is that Chiron is also in Aries, and Chiron in astrology is the wounded healer. And so what Chiron is asking us to do is to overcome some wounds and heal, and therefore heal others. So I do feel like with Aries risings or Aries sun or moon even, that maybe, you know, something didn't happen before in your past because somebody wasn't assertive enough, or somebody didn't take action in time or move forward in time, or maybe even somebody that wasn't physically strong or physically up to par. And so you felt the need to just always go and assert yourself and, you know, be aggressive and make things happen. And this is saying, no, it's time to get over that. That doesn't necessarily have anything to do with you, and how assertive and aggressive you are is actually causing more conflict than necessary. It's causing more stress. And that's one thing about Mars. It is kind of looking for stress and looking for conflict to overcome. And so it's really important for us to, if you're Aries rising, to not always be looking for conflict. Sometimes you can just show up and just partake and be a part of. You don't always have to, you know, but what do I need to do? What needs to be done? Where is this? Where is that? Like, sometimes just chill. Also, Aries risings, one of the best ways I think to overcome this energy and this natural assertiveness is physical activity. Aries risings and strong Aries placements need to get their blood flowing and get their energy going every single day. Like, and right now more than ever, specifically while Mars is in your sign, it's very important for you guys to get energy, or to get exercise, and to even get worked up. That's the thing about Mars energy. And even Aries energy, it needs to get worked up just to kind of get some of the aggression off, so that it can like maintain and it can balance with the energy that it has. But the thing is Mars is home right now, so it's good and comfortable. It's good and like, what? Yeah, let's fight. It's got its dukes up, if you will. And so this isn't about us needing to do that. This is about being in retrospect. Go and get you some exercise. Take care of yourself. That's one thing I know about Aries placements, is you guys tend to be a little bit selfish. Now might be a good time for you to go get some more physical activity and take care of your own body, and that way that you're maybe able to balance some self-control and not being so assertive. Taurus rising. This is in your 12th house, Taurus, because this means if you're a Taurus rising, you have Aries in the 12th house. And so this energy is playing out in your 12th house. The 12th house is a very solitude, subconscious place. This is also a place of escape and escapism. I do think that you're maybe feeling frustrated, Taurus, that you're not getting enough alone time, that you're not getting to really spend some time with your dreams, with your fantasies. And with a higher consciousness, the 12th house is a very intuitive house. Also though, Taurus, the 12th house can be very much a house of self-undoing. And so while Uranus is here also, and Mars is making this transit and retrograding here, so we have two planets that are retrograding, this is the perfect energy for you to get out of your alone time, out of your isolated place, out of being so private, and maybe share more. I think you will see that you can open up to people, and by opening up to people, this will actually make you feel better. I do feel like that Taurus risings with Aries in the 12th house, you're just keeping a lot of things to yourself. And in order to really process these thoughts, and because you're a Taurus and you really want to see the value and you really want to feel secure, you may need to share some of this, what you're going through, with someone that you can trust. And it's probably, I would say, maybe somebody with a Scorpio placement, because this does tend to be the opposite sign for Taurus. Taurus, and because the Scorpio is going to have this energy playing out in their 6th house, maybe they can help you see some of that value. The 6th house is about health and wellness and hygiene, and this is of service to others. So if you know someone with strong Scorpio placements, this may be a good time for you to connect with them and open up to them. Trust me, you can trust a Scorpio. If you tell them not to tell your secrets, they ain't gonna never tell your secrets. They'll take them to the grave, and they'll be somebody who's willing to go deep enough with you into that subconscious place to bring you out and to show you your own value and self-worth. Gemini, this is happening in your 11th house. This is the house of friends, of groups, of humanity, and even for our aspirations and hopes and dreams for the collective. So Gemini, you may be feeling frustrated with your friends. They're not, you know, showing up for the collective. They're not doing their part for humanity. And I think right now, Gemini, this is really about you communicating that, because Gemini is a sign of communication, and you guys do have the North Node on you right now. I'm a Gemini rising as well. So I do feel like that for us, Gemini risings, this really is about seeing maybe more where you can assert yourself more within your groups and within your friends, with your social networks. Maybe you need to speak up more. Maybe you need to be more involved. You need to involve yourself with your friends more, Gemini. I feel like you guys have probably been on the opposite side of the 11th house, which is the 5th house, and maybe just being at home too much, and, you know, being in this creative space, and that sounds all fun and good, and you're having a good time, but your friends miss you. And I think this is a time for Geminis to reach out, Gemini risings or sun or moons, to reach out, spend some time with their friends, share some of their hopes and dreams that they have for them, and yeah, communicate. Gemini, you guys got a lot of information. This is a good time for Geminis because the North Node is spotlighting you. And if you'll go out and hang out with your friends more, you may find more opportunity to share that information that you know. I'm preaching to the choir right now, you guys. Cancer, this is happening in your 10th house, which is also the midheaven. So this is your career, your social standing, your professional standing in life. It's even your reputation and like your professional destiny. So what I will say for Cancers or Cancer risings is you're probably feeling frustrated with work. You're feeling frustrated that you really want to do work that is meaningful to you. Cancer is a nurturer, and Cancer is actually getting the Aries placements, is making a square to Cancer. So you may really find yourself frustrated with work and really find yourself wanting to make a change when it comes to work. And I think you should overcome some of those hurts that you have as far as the need to, you know, have a certain professional status and a professional standing, and just learn to really nurture yourself through work. Cancer needs work that Cancer rising at this point, it's about you guys finding work that's nurturing and that makes you feel good and feels like that you're nurturing to others and really being a benefit. So don't be surprised if you find yourself frustrated. Don't be surprised if even you find yourself kind of going to war for your reputation, if you will. But just be open to making any changes. I think Cancer has really gone through a lot over the summer when we had those eclipses and Venus retrograde, and, you know, all that kind of the sun and Mercury and all those different energies kind of moving through your sign and aspecting your sun. So I really think right now, Cancer, just stand up for yourself. Just, you know, really assert yourself at work, and instead of getting so frustrated, maybe take a step back, maybe stop working so much, or just be open to finding new work or a new career, doing something that just really feels good and offers nurturing to others. Leo, this is happening in your 9th house. I do feel like Leo's probably wants to go somewhere. They are really ready, or this is Leo rising, as I keep saying Leo, but Leo, sun and moon, this could pertain to you as well, but I'm specifically going by rising signs, you guys. Leo, this is happening in the 9th house, or Leo rising. This is philosophies, your personal worldviews, higher learning, higher education even. This is Sagittarius, this is natural house. So Leo right now, Venus is in Leo, so I think this is a good time for you to kind of really be introspective about, you know, religion and philosophy, and maybe, you know, have fun learning some of these things, and spending some time more in religion, or, you know, those kind of things. The good thing is this aspect from Aries is actually making a good aspect to Leo. Aries and Leo love each other, so this is not harsh energy by any means, for Leo. And with Venus transiting your sign right now, this is actually just a really good time to see what is valuable as far as world religion and higher learning and education, and maybe reestablishing your value systems around those things, and around philosophies and that kind of thing. Be willing to kind of open and share, Leo, and do it in a fun way. And you don't have to be so stubborn. I know that you've got some good information and you'll really enjoy what you're learning. And I think you'll enjoy it more if you share it in kind of a fun way with your family even. Virgo. This is happening in your 8th house, Virgo. There may be some real aggression around sex, around money, debt, joint resources, other people's money. These are for Virgo risings. The 8th house is a death house as well. So this could mean the loss of an elder, the loss of, but the death is like a transformation. It's not always a physical death. However, a lot of times it is a physical death. And because it's the 8th house, it tends to be a death of older people. It's like young and old. So this, because it's death and rebirth, it's a transformation. This could be a death as far as something that's very transformative that happens in your life in regards to money, or joint resources, or even some kind of sexual encounter that's very transformative. With Scorpio, am I in Scorpio? No, I'm on Virgo. My bad, y'all. Virgo, yes. With this being in your 8th house, this could also be debt, joint resources. So I would really re-examine those things. I would really re-examine, your sex life even, and consider how you really kind of want to heal in some areas when it comes to sex. I think a lot of times what happens in Virgos and Virgo placements is they become good at certain things, and it becomes like their service to other people, if you will. And maybe that's something you really need to think about. If that makes sense. I know it makes sense because I just feel the downloads coming from God, but it just sounds funny to even say. So if it's not about sex, it's about death. If it's not about death, this is a spiritual house as well, the 8th house. If it's not about spirituality and kind of mysticism, occult type things that you may be reconsidering and really want to put more energy into, then this is also joint resources. This is also joint debt. So these are things that you may want to take action on and really examine: joint resources, your sex life, mysticism, and occult type stuff. This is things that are completely transformative. So really going through your joint resources with somebody and your debt with somebody and really figuring out where you can take action really has the possibility to transform your own credit, right, in your own debt, right? So really taking action on some sexual things or in your sex life really has the potential to transform a relationship, right? So this is transformative energy. The loss of an elder within your family has the potential to be very transformative, right? So Virgo, this is really about you examining those things and those different aspects of your life and just making sure all your I's are dotted and T's are crossed. Virgo does not tend to have a problem with that. And actually, naturally, you makes a positive aspect to the 8th house with the sextile. So I think you'll be fine. Just think about those things. Give some energy to those areas, Virgo and Virgo rising. Libra, this is happening in your 7th house, which is also the descendant. Libra, I tend to think that you guys are going to, because there's really no other planets in Libra, and you guys are completely opposite from Aries, I just kind of feel like you'll be a target to Aries. So I do feel like there's going to be frustration within relationships. And remember, this isn't just marriages. This can be joint relationships, so contractual relationships, business relationships, and partnerships as well. However, it is also marriages and kind of contractual relationships. It's also how you relate to others. Honestly, Libra rising, the best advice I could give you guys right now is to do what you feel is valuable for yourself and to really try to let this energy just roll off of you. I do think that you'll be the target of some frustration, specifically if you have an Aries in your life, or so just really do your best to make yourself feel good, spend some time alone, pampering and nurturing yourself, and just know that this literally has nothing to do with you. It's not you, it's them. For real. Scorpio, this is happening in your 6th house. So I think right now Scorpio really needs to examine their daily routines, their daily work habits, as well as their health and hygiene, their own body, their own physical wellness. The 6th house is Virgo's house, and Virgo and Scorpio make a positive aspect to each other. So Scorpio, this is really about you getting back on those daily routines of working out, of taking care of your body, and even those daily work habits, what you need to do on a work basis daily. So yeah, Scorpio, just get back into it. Get back into that routine. You may find yourself not really wanting to because it's retrograde, but one thing I will say about Scorpio, you guys are really passionate, powerful signs. So if you'll just think about it, and if you'll just put some kind of mojo, if you will, onto your energy to take action, that's what you'll do it. You'll make it happen. This is a really good time for you to consider your daily habits, though, Scorpio, including what you eat. Sagittarius or Sag rising, this is happening in your 5th house. So I think, with Aries makes a positive aspect to Sagittarius. And the thing about it is, if you're a Sag rising, the South Node has been all over your 1st house. So you may really be dealing with some karma and some karmic debt and really trying to make some things right. And I think right now for Sag and Sag rising, you need to have fun. You need to let your inner child out. Go play, go create. And, if it makes you feel better, maybe with some of those people who you feel like you owe a favor to, go have fun with them. Go play with them and let the inner child out. The thing that I think Sagittarius and Sag rising don't really realize is that people just love your energy. And so if you'll just hang out, if you'll give time and give effort and stop wandering off to being so independent and frolicking about, go spend some time having fun with people and letting your inner child play with a group of people, even with children. Go, if you have a partner, go and be romantic and affectionate and kissy and all those good things. Do something creative and fun together. This is a really good energy to kind of reconnect with your inner child. And because that South Node is making you feel like maybe you don't deserve it, and this is what you deserve, and feeling like some kind of way that you got some karma that you got to deal with, one of the best ways to do that is just to go have fun with those people that you feel like you owe something to. All right, Capricorn, this is happening in the 4th house. The 4th house is the house of home. It's also parents, it's babies. It's the nadir, which is the bottom of the chart. So a lot of it does have to do with our own inner securities. Capricorn, you guys are still going through it. We got Jupiter, Saturn, and Pluto all retrograde in your sign, as well as Mars now retrograding, making an aspect, a square to all that activity that's going there. I've been saying it for months now that Capricorns, you guys are really being called to transform. This is Cap, Sun, Moon, or Rising, but this is really a time for you guys to reconsider your roots, reconsider your traditions, reconsider your mama and how you're treating her and spending time with her, reconsidering what security is. And I think what Capricorn and Cap Risings are seeing is that security doesn't always come in work and in social standing and in getting the bag and I got the money. Security is also at home, and it's also with the people that have loved you and nurtured you. 4th house, which is Cancer's house, since you were a baby, since you were from childhood. So if you're a Capricorn or Capricorn rising, I highly suggest that you just get back in touch with the people that have loved you since you were a baby, and that you get back in touch with your childhood, your mom. Spend some time at home. This is not about out and about working so much, Cap rising and Capricorn. Go home. Spend some time at home. Do some work around the house. Do some things with your children. Do some things for your mama. Do some things to create a tradition. Do some things to establish some new roots. Shit, go put a garden in your backyard. Like, do those kind of things. Do some things to create some security within your home, but on that nurturing level, not that finance level that Capricorn does tend to like to go to. This isn't about that. This is more about you taking care of home, and not by working, by actually being at home. Take your butt home. Capricorn. Okay. Aquarius. This is happening in your third house. Sorry about that. This is happening in your third house. That's a house of communication. You guys are getting ready for Saturn to make its return back into Aquarius. And so I really feel like right now this is about you guys speaking up more, sharing more of what you know, giving more information. The third house is communication. Maybe you need to write a book. Think about writing a book. Maybe you need to learn something, learn a subject and share the information that you know. I think that maybe you are learning a subject and you need to share more of that. This is a lot of mental activity. I do think on the other hand that Aquarius does always have a lot of mental activity going on. And so really this may be more about calming the mind, relaxing a little bit more, practicing meditation, practicing yoga, which is breath work. And I always encourage air signs to practice breath work and controlling the breath because they rule the breath in the air. So yeah, this also Aquarius does rule, the third house does rule siblings and neighbors. So this really could even be an energy that says, you know, why don't you go back to hanging out with your siblings a little bit more? What about the people that are in your neighborhood? Are you talking to them? Are you talking to your neighbors and those people that are familiar around you? I do think that it's really about sharing of information and for you guys to get ready to do that, because when Saturn comes back, if you can already have this energy going where you have a system in place, you're feeling comfortable sharing what you know, then it won't be so hard when Saturn comes back into your sign. Because when Saturn comes to Aquarius, I do think there's going to be some restriction on the information and the knowledge that's shared. But if you guys have a system in place, if you'll work on that now and consider that now, it could be really beneficial for you. And last but not least, Pisces. Pisces or Pisces rising. This energy is happening in your second house. This is the house of money, possessions, values, and even your skills. I really do think right now that Pisces and Pisces rising is considering the money that they make from the work that they do, and that you should really use this energy to see how to kind of bump that up a notch, how to take that up some more. Right now, Neptune is retrograde, so this is a real time for reality. This is not delusion. However, with Mars retrograde, there's not going to be a lot of action, I think, that's going to be taken. But Pisces is the dreamer, and I think that whatever you think up right now or dream up right now, or even anything that you can start right now while Neptune is retrograde, which is until November, I believe. I'd have to go back and double check that. But with Neptune being retrograde, this isn't the smoke and mirrors. This isn't the cloudiness and the fogginess that Neptune direct normally brings. This is about you actually realizing what you can really do to make money, that you have the skills, you have the value, you have the product, and you really can make it work. So I do think this is a great time to get your plan in place, to really think about it and meditate on it. You can test some things, try some things out. You may find yourself being frustrated with the money that you make and not, or the work that you do and maybe not making enough money, but this still is really good energy to examine the flaws, examine what's happening, and make adjustments as needed and just go from there. Don't get frustrated, just take a different action. Overall, for all of us, it's about not getting frustrated. It's about taking action, the action that we can take to balance the energy. Some of the action is physical exercise. Some of it is meditation. Some of it is going and hanging out with friends. Some of it is pulling credit and checking joint resources. Some of it is staying away from partnerships right now. Libra rising, that's just definitely not something that you need to work on. Some of the action that we need to take may include working out or our daily habits or the daily things that we do. Some action is just, you know, being creative and having fun, or maybe taking care of things at home, or maybe speaking up more. These are the things that we need to do in order to not let this aggression brew, because that is likely what's going to happen, is we're going to find ourselves brewing. So we really need to examine what this is, what we may already feel brewing, specifically when Mars entered Aries. So for, you know, about the last month or so, we've got a trigger somewhere. Something is just frustrating us. Now is the time to examine that and really examine what that is, and really examine how we can overcome and grow from this trigger, overcome this trigger, overcome this fear, overcome this obstacle. That's what Mars in Aries wants to do. And we have to remember with Chiron there, this is for a lot of us, overcoming a wound as well and really healing from that. So I'm really excited. I think this is going to be really good energy, specifically if we just will, take heed to the message and really examine the root of the trigger, the primitive nature behind why we allow ourselves to be triggered in this area of life. So, okay, let me pull a card for the group. I do also want to say that I think as a collective, we are going to see some retaliations against law enforcement or military. I do think we're going to see revenge, some people that are just angry. I do believe that the last time Mars was retrograde, we did have a retaliation in Dallas against police officers. I do think that we're going to see a lot of that. Those that are kind of peacefully protesting will even find themselves being kind of retaliated against and violence against them. There are people brewing with Mars retrograde. I do think that it's kind of some time to just kind of sit back and evaluate. This is definitely not the time to take action, nor is it the time to have surgeries. Mars rules surgeries. And so with it being retrograde, I just would not. You are more likely to have more damage from the surgery, not heal as fast, have a scar, excess bleeding, a lot more pain, that kind of thing. Not to say that it wouldn't heal, but the process would not be as easy. And we have the Hasma hand. I think this is a great one. May your Hasma hand bring love, light, luck, and protection. Protection is important. On the back is the deer. Bring gentleness and grace in every aspect of your life. That is beautiful as well. We do need grace. Right now, that's what this is about. That's what Mars retrograde is saying. It's saying, wait a minute. Let's examine why we're triggered in this area. Let's really allow ourselves, let's allow our frustration to relax for a little bit, R-E, and really examine why this triggers us. And a lot of times to examine our triggers, we got to have some grace. We got to forgive ourselves. We got to have some grace on why that triggers us. Yeah, it's fair that it triggers us. This was a trauma when we were a kid. So I hope that helps. If you have any questions, if you want to leave a comment, I appreciate it. If you want to book a reading, you can. I'll leave the subscription or the link in the subscription below. Please follow me on Instagram, MS Astrology. And you can tap the link in my bio to book a reading, sign up for the newsletter, follow all the videos on my news channel, and even more. So thank you so much for your time. I hope you have a great day and a really good Mars retrograde. Make the best of it, you guys.